I wanted to deal with because it's something that we were talking about. Hey, man, I need something to drink when I think about it. Pop, you need something to drink?
Mm-mm. Well, I take a bottle of water.
We don't do bottled water, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You know what I'm saying? That's for suckers.
A few moments later.
We do glass bottles. It's
Whatever, that's
healthy.
fine.
Actually more healthy. Hey, babe, Pop needs some water. All right. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Mr. Mo.
And I am Pops.
Well, you are Johnny on the spot today.
Yeah.
You are like you got your car and driving ready to go. Glad to have you here, Pop, for another episode. I guess
amongst the living.
Yes, Lord. What did it say? Let it be better to be seen than viewed.
What you said? Yeah.
But let me start it off like this before we dive into our topic. How was your day today?
I had a wonderful day. I'm having a wonderful day. It hasn't stopped.
That's good. Then.
So I'm having a good day. I feel good. I feel my help been coming on all day. Yeah. Good day.
That's good.
That's yours.
Well, always wonderful. I think if it's breath in your body, that should definitely be the start of a wonderful day. Because we just take for granted life in general. You know, I was just hearing like one of the people that we know lost their mom, so I'm just like, wow, she's young too.
Yeah, I just lost a classmate.
So. Life
sick for a long time.
See, life is definitely a gift.
Oh man, listen. And if we know Christ, that makes it all the better.
Definitely.
It makes it easier. Don't make stuff go away now.
It doesn't.
We still gonna have issues and problems and that kind of thing, but we have a better way of dealing with it now.
Yeah.
Like, just give it to Him.
I'd rather have problems with God than without Him.
I know that's right. We done tried that.
Those bumps and bruises are still
nowhere.
But we are in our second episode together. Well, this will be the third. This will be the third one. So how are you feeling thus far?
Listen, I listen back. I normally don't listen to myself.
Which is why? Though why you don't?
I just don't. Hard on my own self.
Got you.
But after I listened to the last podcast when it came out, I was refreshed about. I said, this man that got me to tell him about my whole life. My whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from A to Z.
You did. And some of the stuff I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, I thought about some other things that a lot of people don't know. Like at one time in my life, I was homeless. I lived out of my car.
Wow.
And I was working at a hospital. And at that time, we had uniforms, so I would go in just before my shift, use the bathroom, take my shower and stuff, and put on my uniform.
Got you.
And that's how I did it.
For how long?
It was months.
Wow.
At least 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. At least 6 months.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that is being. How do you feel about sharing that type of stuff?
I don't. It doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Because I think it lets people know that when you're down like that, you can come back.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to trust God, man.
Yeah.
And you can overcome these things.
Yeah.
And it was a season for me to learn some things, to experience some things. That goes back to what I was saying on the last episode, that things don't move me.
Got you.
Because it can be gone in a second.
True.
You know, so, I mean, everything I pretty much owned was in that car with me.
Wow.
You know, and how it became that way, that's a whole nother story, but one day I'll share that. But
we'll be looking forward to you.
I've been homeless, and it's not a pretty picture.
Yeah, the crazy part is I've been homeless before too.
Really?
That's the crazy part. That's why I'm just
I didn't know.
Yeah, like homeless, but I didn't stay in the car. I used to bounce around the hospital from waiting room to waiting room.
What?
Yeah.
And I worked in the hospital.
Isn't that?
That's crazy.
All right, we're gonna put a pin in that one, because I think that actually gives us and leads us into our topic, and we talked about it in the beginning of the last podcast, which is men suffering in silence. And it's such a heavy thing, and I think we've been suffering for so long, it has literally become, I don't want to say our makeup, but it has become our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So let's take a look into, deeper dive into why we, as head of the house, or I mean, I feel like if you're a man, you're going to be a head of something, leaders of something. But why do we suffer? And I know it has something to do with when we're young. So take us back to a time, I guess, because we can only deal with why we were silent in our suffering. Like, why did we get to the point where we felt like, you know, look, I'm embarrassed if I tell this XYZ, but it's literally killing me from the inside out.
Yeah, yeah.
So why do you think that is?
Well, I think it is because in a lot of, not just back in the day, but even sometimes now, because parents or the single parents don't know how to express themselves, they teach that to us.
Got you.
And back when I was growing up, the thing was, you just don't, you know, you don't know nothing about nothing.
Got you.
You know, you say your back hurt, you ain't got no back. You got a gristle.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
So we wasn't seen as, you know, our parents didn't talk to us or check with us about how we feeling.
Yeah.
I don't fault them for it. I think it's how they was taught.
Got you.
And it didn't happen with them, you know. And we also have the fear of being ridiculed for what we say.
Got you.
I think I said it in the last part, in the last episode, that, you know, you share something with some, oh, you don't know that?
Yeah.
You 15, you all know that.
Yeah. You feel shame.
You know. And that's why I'm big on men understanding their bodies. Everything about your body, how your body operates.
I remember when I first met you, that's how you was. You like, listen.
Yeah.
It's called this. It's not called the nickname. It's
yeah. Yeah. So when you go and talk to folks, or you go talk to your doctor, you got to talk with some intelligence.
Yeah.
Because they'll treat us based on how we conversate.
Got you.
And people will treat you the way that you conversate.
Yeah.
If you don't say nothing, people push you over.
Definitely.
And people think you'll push over because you don't speak up for yourself. Sometimes we don't know how to say what we need to say. Sometimes we may not even have a clue about what we feeling. It's kind of like when they ask you, you go to the doctor and you say, I got this hurting up there. Well, how does it feel? Well, I really can't describe how it feels.
Gotcha.
Emotions is the same way. You can't always, most time we don't know even where it came from, nor we can explain what it is. I just know I'm not feeling good.
Got you.
I know I just have headaches all the time.
So it was stemmed from, and you brought up a very, 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 very key point to, I think, why we do suffer inside. Because when I think back on my childhood, as a child, that's why I think I'm so attentive to my children. I didn't feel like what I said mattered. Yeah. Like I didn't feel like included. I felt like I was here, but I didn't feel like, okay, I'm included. I make my kids feel included. I'll call a family meeting and discuss, okay, listen, so how are you feeling about X, Y, Z? Literally going around seeing everybody's feeling. But I remember not having a family meeting. I remember feeling like
a family meeting.
Yeah.
What's that?
We see me, people know, like my kids know in this house, I'll be like, family meeting, and they'll come running.
I believe in family meeting.
Yeah. But back when I was coming up, there was no family meeting.
They have time for that. Because in most cases they trying to work.
Yeah.
But we have to force ourselves to take the time.
Yeah.
That's why it's important. We should never be so busy that we cannot take time with our families.
I think that's when we lose them too.
Yeah.
But then we expect them to hold on when we expect our children to hold on when we don't have a grip on them.
Yeah.
It's like, stay here, but I'm going to go ahead and run off. I'm very attentive to how my kids are.
Yeah.
Because I never had that when I was coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, especially father figure was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and with me being divorced, I still spend a lot of time with my son, and the reason being is because my dad didn't spend a lot of time with me.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to change the narrative.
Yeah.
By doing it with him, and that's why you gotta be careful about what you ask for or pray about, because you're subject to get it.
Talk about that too.
You know? So, like I think I mentioned in the last part, he went to baseball game, but he never took me. Well, here I have a son. He played a whole lot of baseball.
Yeah.
So I got what I didn't get back then, because they went to all these games to support him. You know.
Gotcha.
And something my son told me once that really, because ever since he was little, I always would tell him, I'm proud of you.
Wow.
And he'll say, Dad, I'm proud of you too. I said, well, thank you. I mean, he was just repeating what I said. So even as he got older, he told me that, he said, you always come at the right time and say that to me. I still say that to him.
Yeah.
When he graduated just recently, from Georgia State.
Gotcha.
I said to him, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you.
And
that boosts him.
Yeah.
He said every time it helps him when I say that.
Because men need that.
Yes.
Because I know with my sons, I always tell them, like, whatever accolades they get, I always tell them, like, son, I'm proud of you. I love you. Make sure you're doing what you want to do and not what other people want you to do. I say it to them all the time because I love that what we didn't have became a valuable teaching tool for us.
Exactly.
It made us better fathers. A lot of times, you know, yes, my father wasn't in my life. Like, my father opened me up to so many different things. Like, I was thinking back probably like 5 months ago, I was like, man, the stuff that my dad opened me up to, drinking and pornography, I was just like, wow. And I was just like, if he knew pornography, like, we're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about that later. Going to talk about that later because that was the floodgate.
Yeah.
It was an extreme floodgate to the point where I was fighting it until I was well in my adulthood.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's what happened to him.
Yeah.
And he fought it 9 times out of 10 until his last dying breath.
See, back then they just had the magazines. But,
yeah.
It was a way to comfort because, you know, when we talk about, I guess we can use that word, sex. We can use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, since
X, we're gonna say X.
When we talk about X, no matter what you say, it's a relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I got to do that to get a relief from all of this craziness in my head, you know, and I think sometimes, you know, men kind of think to themselves and say, well, nobody want to hear what I got to say.
So we automatically.
Yeah, because I mean, it's crazy because, you know, I have this activity that I do with guys.
Okay.
That a whole lot of stuff come out as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the good part is I didn't have to draw it out of them. They said it themselves. And then after they said, then they realized, man, I didn't know all that stuff was going on in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that exercise is non-threatening. It helps them to do the work.
Got you.
You know, I just monitor it.
Got you.
And so they can come up with all of this stuff, and it's just amazing the stuff that they realize. You know, and I think when men, when they're young and they are beat down, like let's say that they out of school or they dropped out or whatever, you need to get a job. You need to get a job. You need to get a job. Then when you get a job, then everybody got a problem with that. Oh, now you think you better than everybody.
You can never please them.
You can never please them.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, when you start doing that, that means that you're going to go and you changing the narrative in your family.
Yeah.
See? So when you do that, they ain't got nothing else to fuss about. So now they got to find something else.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell my sons.
Up.
That's why I tell my sons, listen, do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, you go play football and you don't make it. They'll be talking about, hey, look, you should have had a plan B. But you ain't telling he should have had a plan B in the beginning. You just
gotta be taught that.
Yeah, you pushed him out on the field or pushed him out, he get hurt, something happens, something go wrong. I tell kids all the time, do you know the NFL stands for not for long?
That's good.
That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
It's not something that is forever. And the crazy part is that the thing that's not forever, a lot of, like, I would say 80 to 90% of kids don't make it.
Yeah, yeah. And the ones that do and don't manage their money, that tells you something. Something wrong with that.
Yeah. Or manage their emotions. Yeah. Because that's why they crash out for the most part.
Yeah.
Think about it. You got NFL players who are in jail now because their emotions was literally not in the right place.
No. So emotions plays a lot of parts in our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, it will cause us not even to treat people right because of those emotions.
Facts. Hurt people.
Yeah. And we find ourselves getting upset over nothing.
I know you did that before. You would deal with, I've seen you deal with and mentor, because I've been around you in these classes. I've been with you as in literally why this person is about to spaz out. Like, I've seen you say you're angry because this, that. And it always stems from that childhood part that you never really dealt with. And I've heard you say, oh, you angry as hell.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's what it is, though.
Yeah.
And kids find better, most men that I've seen you deal with come away from that session a lot lighter, a lot nicer.
They sleep good that night.
Very well, one of them.
They have been drained of all of that craziness.
Yeah.
And it's something you got to be willing to accept. You got to trust the process.
Yeah.
You got to trust the process.
So you've dealt with a lot of young men, older men too. I've seen this. Like there's no age bracket that you haven't dealt with that I've seen. I've seen you deal with all kinds. So you have some success rates, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have some like they're just that hard headed. Like some people are just settled into, hey, this is who I'm gonna be. How do you go about dealing with that?
Well, my thing about that is all I can do is bring the information to you.
Gotcha.
I can give you what you need to do to change your narrative. But if you decide to do something different, that's on you. Mm-hmm. And see, that's why now, when I meet somebody, I always give them my phone number. I don't take that number. Because I'm putting the responsibility on you to contact me. You say you want help. We'll see. Time will tell.
Right.
Time will tell.
Yes, it does.
So I don't get that number.
Wow.
Unless it's somebody I know, I just, God tells me I need to. Mm-hmm. It's very few.
Wow.
Very few. I just don't do that no more. Because you're wasting my time. But if you want to deal with stuff, if it takes all night, that's what we'll do. So
how many other percent, if you could put a percentage, how many of men really want change?
I think all of them want change.
Okay.
But all of them not committed to doing the change. Because when you get to talking about feelings, that's difficult.
It is.
That's hard.
Why is that difficult for men?
Because you never had to do that. You always covered up with something else. Mm-hmm. That's why men really is convinced that they got these good raps with women. Oh,
Lord. Let's just stop that.
They need to.
She playing you like a fan.
Because if it sounds good and it's sweet in her ear, she good. But if you're not, she ain't gonna deal with you.
She not.
But they've already made up their mind. No matter what you say or do, they've already made up their mind whether they want you or not.
Wow. Yeah? I remember you saying that too.
Yeah.
Like she already got in her head whether she wants you or not.
Because it's really left up to her.
For the most part.
To make the decisions.
Yeah, you can be as fly as I am and everything. But at the end of the day, it took my wife to say either yes or no. Yeah. That's why the man always asks, hey, will you marry me? Are those some women, I guess, going out on the limb and, asking men to marry? But that's neither here nor there. We digress. We're going to deal with that later, too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why. Because, see, if you're not accustomed to that, to me, it's almost, I describe it as all those feelings you got is like, for some reason, you have swallowed a cactus.
I remember you saying, yeah.
So if I tell you, in order to feel better, you got to regurgitate that cactus, and you gonna tell me, no, man, all them sticky things in there.
Yeah.
I already dealt with that going down.
Yeah.
I don't want that to come back out.
Yeah.
But emotions are that way. And it festers.
Keep talking.
In here. That's why a lot of folks end up having heart attacks and stuff. You can become let me see what the word is. Psychosomatic.
Psychosomatic
symptoms.
Break that down.
Yeah. Well, what you describing is you believe that's what's happening to you.
Okay.
But the doctors can't prove it.
I got you.
So it's up here. But you feeling all of that. You actually feeling all of that. But they can't give no justification for it.
Wow.
and it eats you up.
So something that isn't actually becomes.
Yeah, because you got all these feelings in here, and what happens is every time somebody do something to you, if you don't speak up for yourself, you pack that down.
Whew. How many years of that? If we think about that, how many years of just packing that down like that?
Yeah, you got to tell folks up front. You got to speak.
Yeah.
I just told a young man this the other day. You got to quit just listening to what folks. You got to tell folks what you think.
Yeah.
How you gonna let somebody tell you how you feel?
And people do that.
Yeah.
People do it.
So I know something going on, but if I keep telling you that, it's like getting a splinter. And that thing is painful if you ever had one.
Yeah.
And then when you're trying to get it out, it's painful.
Yeah.
But once you get out, the hurt gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Feelings are that way.
And then it has to go through a process.
Yeah.
Even when getting just getting that splinter out, I always say the most horrible splinter for me is one of those steel ones. The wood, that's okay. But get one where it still literally lodges in your skin.
Yeah.
To me, but once it's out, once it is out, it is a task trying to get it out. Because you'll stop everything.
Oh yeah, and you sit there.
You sit there for hours.
You go find somebody. Come here, Mo.
You would,
and because we're not gonna hurt ourselves like
right.
That. So let somebody else do it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Give me that towel. Let me go ahead and bite the food out of that bug while you get this out.
Oh man!
And it's such a great analogy that's feelings.
Yeah. But I'm going to keep telling you to regurgitate that. Yeah, I know it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But the hurt gets better.
It does.
And that's when healing comes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got junk in you and it's continually to make you sick, and every time something happens, you keep putting it, because what's going to happen is one day you're going to explode.
Yeah. There's plenty of people like that.
You done pack too much stuff down.
Yeah.
You can't do but so much.
I think one you was like, that's like a pressure cooker.
It is.
You talking about that last episode.
Yeah. You got to let the pressure
It's like a pressure
let
cooker.
Your feelings out.
Yeah. So I think that's why we as men, we suffer in silence because we haven't dealt with the silence from when we were a child.
Yeah.
So that same silence when you were a child has literally grown up with you through all your relationships, through all your circumstances, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're homeless, it goes with you until, just like you said,
you deal with it.
You it's a process though.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not easy. I didn't learn this until I was well into my ages, and don't worry about what I am. That's my business. But. But at the end of the day, I didn't learn that until I was older. What I wish I knew it, because we're not thinking, when you're in your teens or just turning 20, 21, like, man, I need to deal with these things that my dad not being there.
Yeah.
That really hurted me.
Yeah.
Like my mom treating me this way. You know something? That really hurt.
See, mine was there, but he ain't do nothing with me. I mean, the other brother, he did stuff with them because they all drank. It's like, it just, and that's why I changed the narrative with my son.
Yeah.
I always said it's going to be different.
Yeah.
And I think that's one good change, that you have to change, because when they get up some age, you have to do like the Bible says, you got to teach them the way.
Yeah.
So that when they grow old, they won't depart from it.
Yeah.
Now, they may not always stay on track, but they going to remember.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
I even now, my mother's passed and gone, and I still hear stuff. Boy, you know better. And she's not here, but I still hear her talking to me. So that's the way it is with everybody. we got to deal with these feelings, man, because it would destroy you.
It will.
It would destroy your family.
Well, it has.
Yeah. And a lot of times, for the women who really, truly want the man to be emotional, if the man will do that, she's not going to stay. Because if you have issues, you got to be where you can sit down and talk about the issue.
You got to. Got to.
You got to talk about it.
Because
you
those issues come something
and
else.
Not do anything.
Yeah. Doing nothing is the worst thing.
You got to do something.
You got to do something.
Sit there idly by.
Yeah, and I love that I was able to deal with my stuff, get past my stuff, not only be healed from it, but be made whole.
Yeah.
I love the fact that this journey to like literally a lot of stuff. I'm like you now, even at the age that I'm at, stuff just don't move me anymore. Like it's not worth the energy. It's not worth the. If I'm gonna get upset or get frustrated or get irritated, it's gonna be because okay, these cameras are not working the way I need them to work for the podcast, and the frustration is because I want to be able to shoot a great podcast. I want to be able to have great vocals so that people can have something to run to be like, you know something, y'all podcast helped me. The feelings I'm dealing with, I want to learn how to manage that, deal with that, and also correct it. Because what I see in me when I was a child, I now see in my son or my daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where my irritation, frustration come in. Man, the lights ain't working. Like, I'm gonna get frustrated because I know that there's a message that somebody in this camera that is watching us need this.
Yeah, definitely. Right now.
Yeah.
I want you to talk a little bit about how you dealt with your issue of your father and your stepfather passing.
Oh man.
And how that. Because initially you would not come to the bereavement group.
Yeah. And the reason why, because they passed at two different, I would say, areas in my life. Like when my mom said I couldn't see my dad, I was like 15. And this is when my mom was like, my dad had told my mom, like, listen, I took him to the bar and we was drinking. I'm like, oh, why would you do that? I was shook. I'm like, because to me, and bonding for him was that me and him were drinking. And when I think about it, and it took it like after everything was done and I dealt with everything, I was like, man, me and my dad really didn't have great chemistry. I knew he was my dad. Yeah. I knew, and he knew I was his son. At one time, he denied me as his son. He said that wasn't my son, even though I look exactly like him.
Yeah.
This when my grandma was like, I told him, get your hand off my door. She told me all of this, right? Uh-huh. So, 15, separated until I just so happened to come across, because, where I'm from, it's a fairly small town. You can run into whoever you need to run into. And I seen him at a gas station. So I was like, it looked like my dad. So I put up, and it was him. So we got to talking, and about this time, I had my first son.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, you need to come see him because I would love him to meet you. So I came to his house, and when I seen him, at the time, he looked fairly scrawny, very weak. Not active like I'm used to seeing. Uh-huh. This the same dad where people just like, man, your dad used to jump out the building. I used to hear all kind of athletic stories. So I'd be like, okay, I get it now why I'm that fire. But but seen him at a gas station and we connected again. I was in my 23, 24, actually. 23, 24. And we connected, and I was like, okay, we good. So we had made plans. him see my son and different other stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a great thing. I get a call one day. My grandma was in the hospital too. So she was doing dialysis and all that different other stuff. So, you know, that was one of my pillars too. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. My mom calls me and she said, hey son, how you doing? Sometimes my mom always calls me with the bad news. Sometimes when I see her numbers, I'll be like, man, nope. Nope, not doing it. Because she always called me when somebody died. You know what I'm saying? But I thought she was calling to tell me that my grandma had passed, but she had called and told me, like, yeah, your dad passed. And it was dead silent. Like, it was silent. I had just seen him like a few days ago. So it hit. I was just quiet. And she was like, son, you there? I was like, I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. But in shock, total shock. Because I had plans. I had many plans. I wanted him to see me be a father. I wanted him to witness his first grandson. So when I heard about that, I was like, it hit so hard. And she was just like, well, she told me what happened. He had a seizure and he didn't come out of it. I was like, because I thought, I seen it on him. I seen he was weak. I seen he wasn't quite like his normal self anymore. But he was still doing odd jobs like painting. My dad can paint. My dad can do a lot of like stuff I do now. He never taught me, but this is what he did. Yeah. So he ended up passing. So that goes, right? Now my stepdad at the time was into some wild kind of crazy stuff. We just say wild crazy stuff. You know, where I'm from, it's like that. You can get caught up and swept up in some stuff. You don't even know. It's like a whirlwind. Like, man, I'm here.
Well, that's most of where you go.
It's kind of like, wow, I'm here now. What you go to. So I remember I'm chilling and my mom is in a lot of stuff. Gee whiz, now I'm going back now. The cactus is coming up now. Mom, you need help. But as I'm going throughout the day, I remember my mom calling me and said, hey, I'm gonna say XYZ. I'm calling X because I don't want nobody like, well, you mentioned his name and all this different stuff. But he was out and about and where I'm from. And he ended up getting into an altercation with somebody where I'm from. So the guy put out a blade and he cut him. But he cut him across his stomach. And they said basically his stuff was basically hanging out. So lady ended up calling the cops. And, you know, the paramedics picked him up, you know, put him back together. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he was a nice sized dude too. My mom loved the fool out of him at the time. I didn't know why, but you love who you love. Yeah. But this guy literally showed me everything everything my dad didn't show me, my biological dad, but he showed me how to work on cars, how to literally snatch a tub out, put a new tub in, how to snatch a sink out, put a new sink in. Like he taught me all the like, I would say side hustle. People say side hustle, but these are actually effective jobs if you really lock in. So he taught me all of that. So they stitched him up. But
you was talking about what they kind of stuff he was doing.
Yeah, he was into some very, I would say, difficult things that he couldn't let go. Every time he let it go, it would come back. He would do good for a little bit, and it would come back. This is just something he couldn't shake. So when he got into the fight, the scuffle, dude ended up cutting him. His stomach, the stuff in his stomach was basically hanging out. They said stitched him up, right, and he was able to come home for a little bit. So I think it was about, I would say, 5 or 6 or maybe 10 days, because during those 10 days, he was like, I got to get this taken care of. You know, he's a vet. So he was making sure, like, I got to make sure. And I didn't understand it.
Was they married now?
They were married.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was like, he was forcing my mom, make sure I get up make sure we get up in the morning, take care of this and take care of that. And at the time, I didn't understand it, like, cause he was moving so swift. Cause to me, I'm like, that's what I like. As I look back over it, then he was telling us without telling us, cause he was making. When I tell you,
know to tell you, but he knew.
Yeah, he was making sure everything is lined up. I'm like,
you take care of her.
Yeah, he was like, you know, I was like, we got to go here today. Make sure this is taken care of. Make sure that taken care of. And I was just like, man, y'all doing a lot of running. And on that 10th day, I remember him coming down the stairs, and he was like, I'm in so much pain. He was like, man, I'm just in so much pain right about now. I don't know what it is. And my mom,
they didn't take him back to the doctor.
That's what happened. Took him back to the doctor because he's like, he's like, I'm able to deal with pain. So, if I'm going to the doctor, he was just telling me, like, man. And the day before that, I remember him telling us, like, man, I love y'all. He was very sentimental. Like, he was like, when I tell you, like, I remember him sitting in the chair. He's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know, man, I love you. I was like, yeah, I love you too. Not knowing, though. The next day, he came down the stairs. He's like, I'm in so much pain, I need to go to the hospital. So mom drove him to the hospital. And in my head, I'm like, okay, well, they're going to take care of when he taken care of. He's going to be coming back home.
Infection.
What ended up happening? The fact that he was out there in the streets, when they gave him something, it actually triggered. I don't know if this is the true whole story. I haven't gotten the whole story because when it happened, I was just like, I was more so thinking about the guy who put him in that position.
Mm-hmm.
I was angry and pissed off with that guy. To me, when he went in, my mom said they was doing chest compressions. They was trying to do everything to bring him back, but he never made it back out.
Mm.
And to me, that drove me into such a rage. And I was on my way here. I remember telling my wife, I was like, I was on my way here, but in the midst of my last time, like when I came here, met all of y'all, as y'all seen from the first episode, that was crazy. This all ties in together. This whole thing ties in together. Like, I was going back, but when I went back for blood. Like, I wanted, and I had people come through like, hey man, I know where you at. So if we need to do whatever's necessary, let me know.
Mm.
And on my second day of, cause I was hurt, cause we got close.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great understanding of, listen, we're not perfect, but our lifestyles, he went a little extreme, my lifestyle, just give me a drink, this is that. But we had he was a great dude for the most part. Just had different other stuff that he never dealt with.
Yeah.
That he never dealt with as far as in his silent moments.
Mm-hmm.
And being that he was a vet,
he definitely
didn't deal with it. So I wanted blood. And I remember coming back here, going back home. And I remember my mom, she was just like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but she was just like, I forgive the guy who took his life. And in my head, I'm like, that makes no sense.
The age.
The heck? Yeah. So I'm like, huh? But she made it a point to tell me that I forgive him. Huh?
That's the saying. That fits the saying, God works in a mysterious way.
Talk about it. Because I wanted blood.
She probably knew that too, though.
I wanted blood for blood. As if he was my biological father. Like, I wanted blood.
Gangster too.
Well. That's a whole nother podcast too.
I'm so glad I'm your friend.
I will want blood. But I wanted revenge, and when she told me that, she was like, I forgive him. But and the crazy part is, she didn't say, I want you to forgive him. But I heard it as if if I'm able to forgive him, I'm his wife, you have to. And I had already been at World Changes, so it's kind of like I was already being tugged on. My heart was already being, piano heart already being played. So I was just I never pursued it. And I came back here and ran into you. and I learned a valuable lesson in not dealing with your emotions and not dealing with you're gonna have to get that cactus up. You're going it has to be. See, this is what stuff right here. But you ain't put my phone on silent. You something else. But I know the importance of managing your emotions and dealing with, and me and my wife talked about it on our first episode of the Mo and Tiff podcast, that a lot of times these things that are in our heart that we don't deal with, it festers when you're an adult.
Oh yeah. I'm a firm believer because I gotta have a social work background. Whatever happened back down here as a child, you dealing with that stuff right now if you didn't deal with it back then.
Yeah, that's the monkey on your back.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't figure out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you came at the right time.
Yeah.
Your life was really being orchestrated, man. I'm telling you.
And when I look back on it, the tail end to get here to my beginning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then to be in this position of, look, it doesn't matter what you say, what you do. For me, it's for God I live, for God I die.
Yeah. But what made you come to the bereavement group?
My wife. Again.
Because I know she had talked to me.
Here's the funny thing. She set me up as if we were going for her because she was dealing with some stuff at the time. Told you, this heifer was funny. God used her in a mighty way because she was dealing with breathing over this. She was dealing with death in this way. She was like, babe, we can just go to this class and then it's just gonna help me. She didn't even come forth.
I told her to tell you that. I can't remember.
So now the story spins even deeper than what it is.
I might
look, I've been set up. But because of her.
But I knew about it. I mean, I knew what you was avoiding, and we had a great number of people involved at the time.
We did,
and
we did.
I think it blew some minds though, the way I handled you though.
Yeah, it did, because it blew mine. Because to me, I'm there to support her, not knowing I'm on the chopping block.
You wouldn't know. I don't know how we got. I don't know how that happened. That's been a while ago. I don't remember.
Because I don't remember. Only thing I remember is
I know you was talking about your fathers.
Yeah.
And then I think I had you to stand up.
Did.
I had you to stand up.
In front of everybody. I felt like I was in class.
Yeah. I think I had you standing up to talk to me as if I was your father to say what you needed to say.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. And then
setup.
you just kind of broke down.
I mean, broke down is an understatement.
Yeah.
Talk about shattered.
And that's when we were hugging and stuff.
And you became my human tissue. You definitely got every piece of this snot. But it
at that time, it don't matter.
Yeah.
The best thing, we get into it.
Because I remember you saying,
because
you was like, yeah, go ahead, keep crying. I know you think it won't stop, but trust. Oh, you'll stop crying. You're not going to, but it made sense though.
Yeah.
I felt a lot like my life literally, I would say, skyrocket from there.
And when you was talking just now, I heard that the reason you wanted to kill the other person is because you had finally got somebody who talked to you.
Yeah. Who seen me.
Yeah. Who told you he loved you.
Yeah. Yeah. And those was his last words to me.
Yeah. So, somebody took that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
You had finally got somebody who was going to see you, talk to you.
Yeah.
Understand what you were doing.
Yeah.
As well as you understand what they were doing.
Yeah.
They took that away.
Snatched. Yeah. I wanted straight blood. And it took God to use my mom to literally say, listen, because at first I didn't understand and forgive.
And she probably don't even know, like she said, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I think that's what you said she said.
Yeah.
So we know why.
Yeah. To get me to this point.
Yeah.
Point of, listen.
Because I think that's why reflection is good. When something happens and you get suffers. I've always, every job that I have ever left, I always reflect back why I left that job.
Mm-hmm.
But I always promised myself I would never leave a job angry.
Got you.
I never left a job angry. And like I told them, when I leave, it's going to be because I'm ready to leave.
not because of anything
God
else.
Want me to leave.
Got you. Yeah, yeah.
I never left a job like that. I've never been fired from a job. So, and I always have had a job pretty much ever since I was in high school.
Wow. So you've been working for a very long time.
Very long time. I started working at the school in what they used to call the Cedar program.
Cedar program.
Yeah, now it's the, what's that thing they got now? It's a new thing they have now. That you work at the schools or at anywhere, at any business, because we had some people, you know.
Got you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's why.
So, in this closing, do y'all like Baptist people?
Getting ready to close now.
But as we close, honestly, men who are suffering in silence, what can you give them?
You asking me a question?
Yeah, I'm asking. Like, what can you give them to help them?
I can offer them the opportunity to come out of silence and deal with their issue, so they can be free. It's bondage.
Yeah,
it's bondage. But guys, I encourage you to come contact us. Because if you need help, I pray God move on you to do that.
Yeah.
Because you're needed. You're needed. You are needed. And you may feel that you're not worthy, but I'm saying that you're worthy. God says that you're worthy. You're His. Even though you may not follow Him right, you still His. Because as long as you got breath, you still have an opportunity to get it right. So we ain't charging you either.
Facts.
So it's free. You ain't got to worry about no money. Because now if you want to make a donation, that's on you. But we ain't charging.
Yeah.
And we will labor with you to get you where you need to be. Because it's in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Them headaches, not sleeping good. Well, you go to sleep, but you don't rest.
Uh-oh.
You know, we can stop that, man.
So let us help you. We are starting something called the P2C, and that is permission to change.
Yeah.
So we want to help walk you through this. I'm going to start putting a link in the description where you can contact us, whether it be email. It might just be email for right now.
Yeah, email.
Yeah, we'll do emails for right now, but you need this. Men who are leading families, young men who are coming into whatever they need to come into, maturity, single mothers, even mothers who have sons that they don't know how to handle, how to deal with, wondering why he's acting out, wondering why they are doing this.
Even fathers, two-parent homes, you have a problem with your kids sometimes.
Yeah. Let us help.
So let us help.
So, P2C, permission to change. I'm Mr. Mo.
And I'm Pops.
Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. We love you.
I can't let it go by. I waited my whole life for a chance like this. It's getting out.